A friend of mine got a gift, or rather gave it as a gift. I don't know if you've been familiar with these. It's a charity organisation, and you go on their website or you phone them up, and you can give someone else the gift of, say, a goat. And it's a sort of goodwill thing, you know what I mean?
So you buy an African family a goat
that will help them for years.
And it's like you're saying, well, I would have bought you a present.
Yeah, but I've used that money wisely.
Yeah, so it's almost like they've given
exactly
the present. They've given the goat.
Yeah, it's a beautiful idea. But as soon as he told me about it, I thought to myself straight away, knowing Carl's views on charity and giving, I wondered what his views would be.
Well, are they happy with the present over there? Like the people who are getting it?
You're an idiot. What, you think an African family wakes up and there's a little goat with a ribbon tied round it, and they go, oh, look what Santa brought us.
Look, and that mince pie's gone on that glass of milk.
You're such an idiot.
No, but what I'm saying is, does that family want a goat?
Yes.
But why?
It's not they want a goat, it's they need a goat. Do you think... What do you think this organisation is?
Just arbitrarily giving goats to people.
They're going to say, oh, I wanted Nintendo. What are you thinking?
Well, what I'm saying is, right, let me put myself in their shoes. Well,
this will be a first.
Got any, but say I'm one of them, right, over there. Right, I'm sat there, it's Christmas Day, right? I open it up, open the present, little goat there, right? Now, if I was one of them, I'd be going... Not another mouth to feed. At the end of the day, there isn't enough food to go round for themselves, never mind a goat. Don't they say, like, having a dog and that is quite expensive? Sometimes they say, you know, what with all the injections you've got to give it.
Well, I'm assuming it's all above board. The goat's had its injections. That's what some of the money goes towards. It's just a way of redirecting cash.
But the thing is, why do they want that goat? What's the main reason? What's the main... What does a goat give you?
Milk.
Right. Now, wouldn't it be easy to just send them a bottle of milk? Without all the hassle and the headaches that come with it. That's all I'm saying. And the other thing is, think about the goat. That was happy over here. Suddenly, it's on barren land. No grass.
I'm gonna burst! What do you mean?
You didn't send a goat from here.
I'm saying, who's happy at the end of this, right? You've got a fella who hasn't got a present over here because the mate bought him a goat, right? So yeah, let's do this properly. So there's a tick. He's not happy, right? Then you've got the person who's opened it, who, like you said, wanted something else, right? It's a goat. They go, who's going to look after this, right? So tick, they're not happy. And then you've got the goat going, what am I doing here?
Definitely love this, surely. Have you started seeing this now? Virgin are starting plugging Virgin Galactic. I think it's something like 200,000 quid, and you'll get a chance to go in a space shuttle into space.
Carl, thoughts?
Going to space?
Wouldn't it be a fascinating experience to go into space and look back at the Earth?
I mean, at what point are you all meant to be happy? Do you know what I mean? You're floating about up there, and because you don't get out, do you?
What, you mean to do some duty-free shopping?
I'm just talking, you don't go floating about, do you? You stay in your seat.
Well, they probably let you move around on the shuttle.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about getting out. For me, when you go on
you want
holiday...
to get out into space?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. When you go on holiday, the flight bit isn't the best bit of the holiday, is it? That's the bit you've got to do. So what I'm saying is you've got to stay on this, and then you go back home. So you don't take luggage, right? I don't see the point.
Right, so you're there, you're sat in your own clothes for the whole time, same clothes the whole time.
But I don't understand what is the point.
I think it's the view. I think it's two things. I think it's the view and being able to be part of an exclusive club. I went into space. It's all that thing about man conquering nature, and you're one of that elite few that have managed to pop up, see the world from a distance that no one else can see it from, and then pop down.
All that way just for the view.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? I mean, there's a lot of other places I haven't seen anyway. Right, before I think about that, I think if you've done everywhere, I haven't been to Scotland yet. Right?
Right, yeah.
I'm not being funny, but do you know what I mean? So just have a look in your back garden before you go looking in someone else's.
In space?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would make it a trip worthwhile for you? I mean, if you did go into space, if we gave it to you free of charge, we said, Carl, go up
I know
into
the
space.
answer. I know the answer to this, Steve. He's thinking, I'd like to meet some aliens that can talk like I do,
Yeah.
and I can understand them, and they can tell me something. Like what? Oh, they met God, he was all right. That's the sort of thing, that's what he's going to say. He'd like them to look like monkeys in spacesuits.
Yeah.
That would be his ideal thing. He'd like to go to the planet of the
He'd like to go to
apes.
the planet of the apes.
He would
Absolutely.
love
They
to
could
go
arrange
to
that.
Look, he's nodding. He's
Yeah.
nodding. Thoughts, Carl?
Well, yeah, that'd be brilliant.
What would be brilliant?
Seeing a little alien and that, having a chat with him, find out what's been going on.
What's been going on?
No, but don't you think that, like, I mean, if you bought me that as a present, right,
Yeah.
either of you,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be that happy. For me, that's a little bit like,
Well, that's annoying because we've got you a trip
We
to
just
space
pulled
and a
together.
goat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you know how, like, I am interested in sort of going on another planet, right? Not,
Carl, you are on another planet, mate.
no, but do you know what I mean? It would be quite sort of interesting.
How do you think you'd get there?
Well, yeah, you'd go on a rocket and stuff, but what I'm saying is, at least you know when you get there, you're getting out, you're having a bit of a wander. But I wouldn't be happy in just the journey bit of it. That's all I'm saying.
That's great, isn't it?
But the thing is, right, because I was looking into it a bit, because I was reading about the Virgin Atlantic
Yeah.
thing, right? And I was reading something that in 1971, right, 3 of them went up there. There was one bloke in the rocket, right? The other 2 wandered off, had a walkabout, seeing what rocks they can find. Right? And that bloke who was in the rocket, right, he was the loneliest man ever in the world.
I don't know what to do. What that was? I don't know what to do. I don't know if that's some sort of profound poetry or I don't. Do you know what I think he's trying to say? He's trying to say he was, by definition, a human furthest away from all other human contact.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I said.
Yeah, okay. No, you said loneliest. Loneliest evokes an emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
But
like he started crying and writing poetry and listening to Morrissey records.
But what I was thinking is, do you think when he got up in the morning, he still bothered to put his clothes on?
That's the first thing that came into your mind.
No,
when
just
you
because
pictured him
I
in
always,
there.
you know, at the end of the day, even if, like, my girlfriend Suzanne's out at work and that, I'm not happy walking about with everything out, because you never know what's going to happen. I just mean, you know, you never know
Yeah.
if someone's going to turn up.
no, I don't like what I don't like. No, I always pop some pants on or a towel, even if I'm
not
alone.
always. Because I've knocked on your door when you've been stood there with.
No, he's
Yeah,
taking
but
his trousers off.
I did it especially
Oh,
knowing
right.
that you were there. I've done it especially to annoy you.
right.
Yeah. So.
But do you know what I mean? Do you think he was walking about the rocket with his tackle out, or did he
floating
go,
about,
well, you know, no one's watching here?
Do
Do
you
know what I
reckon
mean?
it floats up or down?
Well, if you are the man who was up in a space rocket and was for a short period the loneliest man in the world, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you did with your time, how lonely you felt, and also
Lonely?
did you float around with your cock and balls out, Carl? If you could have a superpower like Superman, what would your superpower be?
Can I suggest consciousness?
Yeah.
Can I have the power of thought?
Remember, you've already got opposable thumbs. So cross that one off the list.
Oh, go on, Carl.
There are so many to choose from: telepathy, X-ray vision.
Flight, invisibility,
Choose it wisely.
strength, intelligence.
But why have I been picked?
Oh, for God's sake!
No, but I'm just saying.
It's
I'd say,
Rob's question
no,
for
no,
you.
But I'd just say, does anyone else want this, or do you know what I mean?
Oh,
No,
what do you
because-
wish you
no,
could do that's
no,
impossible is
because-
the question.
no, because-
or out of... What? What do you mean?
Because with that comes a responsibility. Is what
With
I'm saying.
enormous power does come great responsibility.
So, would you like spidey senses? Is that what you're saying?
Come on, Carl. You know what these superheroes because they can.
I know, but it
they can
always
freeze
they,
things.
They're
they-
never happy, are they? Do you know what I mean? Spider-Man that wanted to tell that girl that he could climb walls and that. He's like, I can't. Superman never told Lewis and that.
Who's Lewis? Who's Lewis?
Lewis.
Who's Lewis?
It's just a pen pal of Superman's.
Lewis! His little secret chum! Yeah. All right, Superman. Hello, Lewis. What are you doing? Superman. Who are you? I can't tell you, Lewis. Brilliant.
You know, Hulk. He wasn't happy.
Oh, he wasn't happy. It's true. He's got a theme. He has got a theme. There's not many happy superheroes, are
But
there?
leaving aside the superheroes you're already aware of,
Yeah.
what superpower do you want? You don't have to fight crime with it, Carl. Let me just remind you of some of the other things. Invisibility.
All the time, though, or can I sort of turn that on and off?
Let's say you could turn it on and off. Would that interest you?
Yeah. I'll have that.
Right. Okay, and what would you do with this power of invisibility?
Just sort of wander about and just not get seen.
It's a brilliant power. It's a brilliant. And it's put to such brilliant use. It's brilliant. Well done.
And why would you want to walk around and not be seen in that? What would you gain from that?
Don't know. You could sort of go in shops when they shut, so you don't have to go.
How would you get
crowds.
in?
Just get in just before they lock up.
Oh yeah. How would you get out?
Wait till the morning.
Brilliant.
So hang on. So that's your use of invisibility. They found the power of invisibility. You want to sneak into. Never mind. No, hang on. You want to sneak into HMV, right? Wait for 12 hours and then buy something.
I love it.
Just so that you don't have to be in there with other people.
Do you know what? I don't want it. I don't want a power
Why not?
because I just don't think it'll do me any good. I think it's more of a hindrance.
I love this. It's like, just think of his presents. We've given you a trip into space, and the chance to be invisible.
Not happy with any of them.
Yeah, what he wants is a voucher for HMV.
Yeah. He just wants some tokens for a record shop.
Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk.
Hello, and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Now, you probably know me from such works as The Office and Extras, Stephen being my co-writer and co-director on those things. For those people who are not so aware of Karl Pilkington, he was our producer, sort of given to us when we first started on XFM. And you're thinking, well, why are we doing a podcast? It's because I like to be in a room with Karl Pilkington. You know, like some people go and help sort of chimps.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, they go to the
and
jungles and things.
And help out little sort of endangered
Diane
species.
Fossey or whatever.
Exactly.
You're very
yeah.
much the Diane Fossey of the Manchester scene.
Of the little bald mank world. And Karl Pilkington is an ongoing experiment for me because I've seen him blossom from an idiot into an imbecile. And I want to see it through. Look at the way he's looking at us. Look at that. He's got a perfectly round head. And that's why I'm doing this podcast. Carl, what do you think about all this?
It's just, I mean, we are living in that sort of era now, aren't we? That you need to be able to listen to stuff on demand when you want it and stuff.
I know you're not a fan of the iPod in general, are you? Or any of the MP3 things? You're concerned.
I'm warming to it, but
This is what's amazing about Carl. Even though he's talking about things like MP3 players, computers, iPods, he sounds like he was found in a glacier and thawed out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sort of taught to speak.
We're a couple of high school guys who found him, and we're trying to ingratiate him in the gang, trying to pass him off with someone from the modern day.
But my thing with iPods is, now, do we need them? Do you know what I mean? We're living in that era now where we have invented most of the stuff that we need, and now we're just messing about.
They said that in 1900. Someone actually said everything that's to be invented has already been invented. They said that in 1900. And how wrong were they?
No, but what came out? At what point? What was invented in that year where they went, right, that's it now?
The 20th century. Think what happened in the 20th century.
Go on.
Well, planes.
Yeah, but is that a good thing? Planes and that. Do you need a plane, really? Wouldn't it have been better if we all stuck where we should be instead of travelling about? War. Well, look, war's happening, isn't it? Because everyone's saying, well, now we can fly, we'll go over there.
So there were no wars prior to the invention of the aeroplane?
Not like there is today.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, the world's got smaller on it. Everyone's saying that, right?
Yeah.
The way I was saying to you the other day, we now go to places where we shouldn't go. People go on holiday to places where you've got to have an injection before you go there.
Yeah.
Forget it then. That's a warning. Don't go there.
I'm with you on that. I don't want to enter a country where I have to have an injection to stop me from dying while I'm in that country.
Right,
I totally agree with you on that.
So what happened is, they invented the plane, and it's like, oh, let's go on holiday, and then they go, oh, die now. Oh, well, you've got to invent something. Let's invent an injection, and then it's like, right, well, what else do we need to go to that place? There's a lot of faffing. So what I'm saying is,
Is that a place? A lot of faffing.
What I'm saying is, Steve's travelled more than I have. You've been to like dangerous places.
I've been to places where you need injections, yeah.
Yeah, but why?
Because it's fascinating, isn't it? Do you not believe in that idea of travel broadens the mind? It makes you experience other ways of life, other ways of thinking. It just enriches you as a human being. That's the whole reason people go travelling.
But since the invention of the telly, you don't have to go that far to see
You're
it.
absolutely right.
So there you go then. The telly was the 20th century, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So where would you stop then? You'd stop making stuff now? Stop inventing stuff right now?
If we're going to invent something, right, forget like the traditional way of people having kids, right? The way they, have it away in that.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, like the way that, we have kids and stuff. If it'd be good if what happened was to control it is if man and woman, right, they're born and that, they enjoy their life, they learn a lot, they live to be about 78, I think, by that point.
So specific.
Yeah, 78,
No,
yeah.
but by 78, I reckon you've sort of got to that point where you go, do you know what, I've done everything I'm going to do. If you haven't bungee jumped by the time you're 78, you're not going to do it.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like...
Your hips come off.
You've done it all now.
Yeah.
And then you die, right? So, say if everyone had that, they live to be 78. But then, just as you die, you have a little baby inside you. And as you die, your life carries on.
Sorry.
How is this happening?
Sorry, are you mental?
No, but don't you think...
I mean, what? I've never heard such drivel.
You're saying that, but if Newton said it, you'd go, interesting. That's what annoys me.
The point is, Carl, he never would. He'd never say it, that's the point.
If you never say it,
I don't understand what you're talking about there. How was it? How is there a little baby in a 78-year-old?
No, what I'm saying is it's like an apple, where the apple grows and it's got its little baby pips in it, and the apple goes and the seeds are planted and a new one's born.
But that's what happens.
But that is what reproduction is.
Yeah, but I'm saying babies aren't being born left, right and centre. It's controlled so that as someone dies, someone's born.
But Carl, stop. Whose responsibility is
Look,
this?
if you don't want to do it, we won't do it. But
is it supposed to be nature? Has nature got to develop humans so that we act that way? We live that way? Or is this a scientific experiment?
He said to you then, he said, look, if you don't want to do it, we don't need to do it. Like, if you were up for it, we'll sort it out. We can do that.
We'll have a whip round so we can do the research.
I just think, at the end of the day, we've got to do something. And is anyone keeping an eye on this and looking at what we can do next to control the population thing? It does my head in that I've got to live in London for work and what have you, and there's loads of people here, and forget going out on a Saturday night, it's too busy, and you can't move, and what annoys me about London
So
is...
your solution is that 78-year-old women have little babies inside them, and as they slip away into death, the little babies, and how is that baby then raised? Who looks after the baby?
Because it's a pretty good system having a baby while you're young enough to look after that baby and make sure it lives to reproductive age itself.
I mean, that system's been working for years.
Nature's sort of sorted it out. Natural selection and evolution sort of makes that a good model.
But wait a minute, nature, pop that on hold because Karl Pilkington's got an idea.
Yeah.
That's what it was, just an idea.
Yeah, well, it was nonsense. But thank you for it.
The worst I mean, it was the ramblings of someone you'd find by themselves in a hospital eating flies.
This is the sort of thing you find when, if they find maybe a pamphlet or a booklet written by a psychopath. Someone, just before they went on a rampage and then turned the gun on themselves, they go through their possessions and they find a book and it's got weird drawings, women with knives in their face, and this kind of garbage.
In fact, I saw a similar sort of theory written out on a wall, but it was written in shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, all I'm saying is, I think it's when people die normally, everyone's fed up about it, aren't they, and a bit down. But if when you pass away, you go, oh, we're going to miss Gladys or whatever, but then there's this new life brought in, it's almost like a bad news, good
But
news.
you're talking about it like someone could pick this idea up and run with it. Like you've given them enough information to do it. How is this possible? Where does she get the baby from? Why does it grow? Why grow it in Gladys's belly? Why not have it in a drawer?
But what I'm saying
ready to go. Just add water. I mean,
Who looks after son of Gladys?
There is no theory here. There's no. It's the ramblings of a madman.
What I'm saying is, though, the body's always changing, innit? From caveman to now, or whatever.
In
It's
some
changing.
cases.
And they're always finding out more and more. Like I read the other day about how they're saying, do you know, like they say, people have 6 senses.
Yeah.
There's loads more than that. Right, and there's this one.
I say, show me that you've got one.
No, right, and there's this one that's knocking about.
Go on.
That what it is. Say if I'm in a pub, right, and I'm just doing a crossword or whatever,
Unlikely, but go on.
and there's some woman who's walked in, right, and she's staring at me.
Yeah.
I know she's looking at me, and I look up and I look round. She's looking at me,
Right.
and they're saying that's a new sense that they found out from, like, you know, doing tests and what have you.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
And they're saying
okay.
that's been around since like man and dinosaur was knocking about.
They've stopped.
No, they've
pursuing-
explained
I
it.
think it's safe to assume that, you know, that with your perfectly round head, people are always stopping and
No,
looking.
but they explained
You
it.
just know that there's probably going to be someone there if you look
They
right.
said it's from the time when like caveman was like wandering about, and he'd go, hang on a minute, and he'd look round, there's a dinosaur there or whatever, and he'd
Right,
leg it.
this is nonsense. One,
not-
I hate when people use the term when caveman was wandering around. Caveman and dinosaurs, oh, they used to live together, yeah. Oh, that's the same era. Yeah. What have you been watching? Raquel Welch?
What do you mean?
Well, what do you mean caveman wandering, knocking around with a dinosaur?
You know, the Flintstones is only partly based on fact. Dinosaurs and man did not coexist. The dinosaurs had long gone before man arrived. Extinct. Kaput. You don't believe us?
What, you don't believe because you've seen...
Because you saw that film where they took pictures of lizards and magnified them and put them next to men in films so they looked like they were fighting.
Yeah.
No, but why couldn't that have happened?
What is the film with Raquel Welch? A Million Years
10
BC.
A million years BC or
A
something.
Million Years BC. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
She had a sort of woolly mammoth bikini. Fact.
What I thought we could do, Carl, on this, the brand new 5th series of the Ricky Gervais Show, we're talking about things that have happened since we met, looking back, what have you learned, where are we going forward from this. I thought we could play Room 101, the popular TV show where people cast the things they hate into Room 101 forever. Room 101, of course, is taken from George Orwell's 1984. Room of all your fears and terrors, and so.
Is there a copyright issue here? Can we just steal this idea?
Well, yeah. Well, let's play Room 102.
Clever.
This is the room next door to Room 101, which is worse, in my opinion.
Is it?
Oh, Winston Smith. He'd love to be in Room 101 if he went to Room. He'd go, "Oh, get me back to Room. I didn't know where. Oh, I didn't know I was born. This is much worse." So, Carl, these are things that really annoy you. Don't put in things like, you know, cancer and racism. I mean, that goes without saying.
They're already in there.
They're already in there. All the terrible things in life here. This is just your little bugbears, the things that really annoy you that, you know. Well, I actually did the real show and I put in things like, lateness. That's my bugbear. I can't stand it. I think I put in, parents who let their kids run riot. Parents who think that everyone is interested in their kid as much as they are. I remember I was talking about this family, right? They were passing the baby around in a restaurant, and it was like being sick, and they were all shouting about it, and I was thinking, oh, and I got onto, oh yeah, they were breastfeeding it, and at one point I went on a this sort of like digression about a friend of mine who moved to the country, and the woman next door, sort of this hippie woman next door, about 40, you know, one of those sort of like long grey hair, you know what I mean? Shave your legs and stop wearing flip-flops.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we're just neighbours and we brought you round a rice pudding. And they gave my friend a rice pudding. And she went, oh, it's made from breast milk because I'm still lactating. And I went, thanks very much. And of course she went and they threw it away and washed the dish and gave it back to her. And it annoyed me. The arrogance of coming round and saying, it's rice pudding made by breast milk. Get out of here, you dirty hippie.
Is that what you'd have said though if she'd arrived? At
No, I'd have said, "Oh, do you know what? I'm breast milk intolerant." No. Well, I remember the next day it went out on television. A journalist said, "Oh, Ricky Gervais showed his misogynist side." No, I stand by it. I don't eat strangers' breast milk. I'm saying about it, totally natural. Well, it's not okay. It's a cum sandwich. It doesn't matter if it's natural. It's fucking disgusting. Don't make me a rice pudding out of breast milk. You know, I'm not a fussy eater.
Sure. Well, you are.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you mean.
Surely you'd draw the line there of a stranger's breast milk.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Any kind of jizz clan.
Jizz plan, do you know what I mean?
That's giving you an example of the sort of thing that one might put into room 102.
Yeah. People who try and make you eat their breast milk disguised as rice pudding.
It's quite a specific fear.
Yeah.
That one.
Graham.
Oh, come on. He doesn't deserve that.
Slugs was in there.
Slugs. So, then there's, you have to put a case forward, and me and Steve decide whether slugs go in, or whether they stay out, whether they've got a purpose.
It's just because I'm having a problem with slugs at the moment. There's a lot of slugs coming in the house.
Why?
Dunno. They can get where, like, water can't, you know what I mean? Because they're boneless, aren't they? So any little gap.
So is water boneless? There's not many bones in water.
No, that's what I said.
Yeah, but you're saying they can get somewhere that water can't.
Yeah, no, they're even more likely to, because they sort of move about and that, and they're looking for light. Water's just happy where it is. You understand what I'm saying?
Why banish them all to room 102, slugs? Because they're harmless, aren't they?
Yeah, but I also think, I mean, at the end of the day, they're happy wherever. So stick them in room 102. They're not bothering me, and they're happy. They're not bothered what the room is.
No. This is a metaphor. Room 102 means they disappear from existence. There's not really a room where you put in slugs with people making rice pudding out of their breast milk. It's not really. No, it's not. You can't rent that room. We're saying, would you take slugs out of existence?
That's quite a tough call, isn't it? Because everyone's going to have a go. But I don't know what they do. All I know is they're clogging up my piping. I had to go out and buy a plunger. I hadn't seen them since, like, comics when I was a kid. And I suddenly thought, I need one of them things that I always saw in comics. I never thought I'd need one of them in my life. It's 2008. I've got slugs in my pipes. So I went out, £3 it was. I had no idea what the going rate is for a plunger.
Where did you go and get one?
It's a hardware shop round the corner. So I went round there, I said, you got a plunger? He said, what size do you want? I said, what size have you got? He said, oh, we've got 3 different sizes. I said, I'll have the middle one. So that was £3. And took it back, gave it a bit of a plunge. And I think it was slugs. Like, all, like, bits of black stuff came up. I think it was slugs in there, like broken up slugs.
Well, hang on. That could just be black gunk, couldn't it?
No, it looked very sluggish. Because remember, I've had a problem with them anyway. I'll go to the toilet or whatever, look round, there's a slug climbing up the wall out of the shower basin thing.
Are you sure it's a slug?
Yeah, definitely slugs. I have to keep chucking them out, because I don't like killing anything.
No.
I don't want to kill the slugs with slug pellets. I bought some copper ribbon.
Right, they don't like going over that,
They don't like that.
They get a little shock charge, yeah.
But, now that should be a warning. But instead, they're diverting. They've done a diversion, they've gone up the wall and across. Now it's like, that's a warning. That's like having a no trespassing sign. Yeah. And they're just going, bollocks to that. And they're getting in. And it's annoying me. And now you get to a point when you do say, well, if they carry on like this, I'll have to kill them because they're not... They're
not playing by the rules.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the purpose is. You just sit there still. I don't see him doing anything. I was looking at one close up.
But what do you want to do? Be reading Rousseau. What do you want a slug to do?
In the same way you see a bee collecting pollen, good, it's doing its little work. But ants carrying big leaves or whatever. But the slug's just sat in the middle of the kitchen.
They're all doing the same thing. They're all doing the same thing. That slug is out. It's eating. It's finding food.
There's no food in our kitchen for a slug, believe me. There's not enough there for me sometimes. But never mind a slug. There's nothing for it. Definitely not in the shower. What's he doing? So, I told you ages ago about how they cause more problems than good. They eat cabbage.
Right.
When they shouldn't be. They get in letterboxes and nick stamps.
They don't nick stamps.
They eat the stamps. They like the glue on it.
Right.
Right.
Is this a big problem, though? Is there an epidemic of slugs eating stamps?
But I think it is, and that's why they're so slow. I think they're sweating glue.
And it's
Right?
slowing them
They're
down.
eating all them, and that's why they're sticking to stuff. Have you ever picked up a slug? Well sticky. They give off this glue. It's like all the glue they've eaten off stamps. They panic, and when they sweat glue.
Sweat! Think of a slug! What do you mean they sweat glue? You're making up nature. This is like Attenborough, but made up.
When you see a slug,
Yeah.
you prod it, it gets nervous, it wants to run off. But the problem is, because it's sweating glue,
It's not sweating glue!
it makes sense.
That's not
It's just a nonsense theory.
It's just what I've noticed on them.
Right, Rick, do you allow slugs in room 102?
Well, I think we should, if they're going to be gone forever, then we should put a case forward. They're amazing creatures.
If you haven't got them in your house, it'd be different. All you've got is people coming around saying, do you want some rice pudding? That isn't a world problem.
That wasn't me.
Right, whatever it was.
No, but they're amazing. They've got two sets of like antennae. The one at the top is for light, and the next one is that they can smell and get food in the air, just the slightest.
What do they do for the world?
They're food. If only.
It's not good enough, that. It's not good enough.
What do you mean? Like that's the ultimate sacrifice. Surely them being food for
Who's
something.
eating them?
Hedgehogs.
Do they like them?
Yeah, they love them. They love slugs.
Do they?
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if you're always going to upset someone, aren't you, with anything I put in room one.
No, you just got to make a reasoned case, and I'm not sure that you've argued well enough.
I'm
for
just
uh,
slugs.
having problems with them at the moment. I spent £3 on a plunger, and I don't like the idea that every time I get up in the night to go into the toilet or whatever, I've got to put the light on because I might have a bit of sluggage between my toes.
Sluggage, a little bit of sluggage between the toes.
But
I mean,
if you're going to put everything in your house that causes problems, what else are we going to have here?
No,
Boilers?
I'm not. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, you only moan about what's fresh on your mind at the moment. And I haven't, I've got to go to that house, and I dread to think how many slugs are going to be stuck to the ceiling and everything.
Right, okay, so we need to move on. So you are not putting them in?
I'm not putting slugs in.
All right,
no.
slugs have not gone in, Carl, I'm afraid.